underneath, and if you don't get any picture perfect more than that.
That young man will be glad that our cameras were here for tonight's contest.
Welcome, basketball fans, to Pollard Gymnasium for this afternoon's game between the Speedway Sparkplugs and the Cadets of Cascade. I'm here, as always, with Coach Charles Bennett before the game. We're halftime of the JV game with the Plugs winning 21-14. Coach, you got a Saturday afternoon, Saturday matinee game, which I kind of like. It's kind of like the college thing. I was looking through the schedule and looking at what we've done this year. And I noticed a number of games, and I can go back, and you can go back a lot better than I can. We're into the third, fourth quarter. Greenwood, Crawfordsville, Greenwood Christian, Park Tudor, Tri-West, Western Boone, all games where we were right there in those games. And things turned and went sour a little bit in the last quarter. What do you do, and I know you know that too. Coaches go back and watch film, and then they watch film, and then they watch more film. What do you do as a coach in practices to try to get yourself and get the team over that hump?
To be honest with you, what we've kind of changed our practice around is kind of talked about dividing the game of 32 minutes into 4 or 8 4-minute games. And saying if we can win 5 of those 8 4-minute games and not lose the other ones too badly, we're probably going to win the game. So to be honest with you, we've been doing a lot of just 4-minute quarter scrimmage type deal where we'll play a group for 4 minutes, keep score, see what happens at the end of it, and then reset the clock. And I know earlier in the year I said, people don't believe, sometimes your coaches say we're real close, we're right there, and we just have to get a few things cleaned up. For us, we are close, and we have to get our turnovers cleaned up. We had 21 last week against Western Boone. Down only 3 at halftime, that bad third quarter. Against Tri-West, we ended up with 16 turnovers. Again, down 1 at halftime, came out. Against Park Tudor, we were down 8 at halftime, which sounds like a lot, but it's 4 possessions. Came out third quarter, we gave up 32 points. So it's just some little things, I think, and just breaking it down for our kids and saying, okay, we're going to compete this 4 minutes. What's the score going to be at the end? Let's win 5 of those 8 4-minute games and then see what happens. I think we're also continuing to ask our kids to we want to try to challenge some teams offensively, especially shooters, because shooting percentage in the second half for the teams we played the last 3 games have been over 50%. Our goal is 40%. Now in the first half, our defense, I think Western Boone they shot 33%, Tri-West shot 35%, and Park Tudor was, I think, at 40 even. So we were meeting our goal in the first half. It's just a matter of getting over that hump. So I think shrinking it down, asking our kids just to think about that, I'm hoping it will help.
Good. Well, you got a Cascade team coming in here, a conference game today. Record 6-9. I was looking. I got a big win, I think, against Triton Central earlier in this season. Tell us a little bit about the Cadets and what we're going to need to do.
The Cadets are a real good team. They play a schedule that's pretty tough. They're in the Hendricks County tournament. They played Tri-West earlier in the year. As you said, they're 2-1 in the conference, so they beat Triton Central. They had Lutheran. They played Lutheran within 8 points, and Lutheran currently only has 1 loss, and that's to Beech Grove in the conference. So very solid team. Coach Carpenter does a great job. They have a really good guard, number 12, Drake Dotson. He can shoot it. We've seen him play 3 times, and he's only taken 2 shots inside the arc. So knowing where he is tonight will be a big key for us. They also have another guard, number 10, Nick Parsons, who also can shoot it as well. But we feel like tonight, and then they have 2 really nice inside players who are just good, solid role players and understand. One is 34, Connor Sanders, big-time active energy guy. I'm looking forward to Creighton and Landon and seeing how they do against him tonight. But they just play hard. I mean, if there's a loose ball, we're talking to our kids a lot about 50-50 balls. With a loose ball, we need to go get it. And they compete against a very tough schedule. And like we said in the conference, they're 2-1 now. So I look for this to be a very competitive game. What I'm hoping to see is if we don't have the lead at halftime, we're close, and then what we do the third quarter. So, and then can we close out a game in the second half? So we're about that time. And then today as well, Cale Bennett will be coming back from his first game concussion and then his complex fracture in his cheekbone. I think the other players on the team are excited, but we'll see how all that rolls out. He's on a limited amount of playing time just because they want to make sure everything's okay. But which is more difficult in basketball than, like, say, football. You know, okay, he can play 20 plays, or in baseball he can have 3 at-bats or whatever. So we'll see how that goes and see if he can help out a little bit. But I think our kids are excited. I know he's excited. So looking forward to a great game today and even up our record in the conference, too.
Good. Best of luck today, and we will talk to you after the game.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back, basketball fans. It's the third quarter of the junior varsity game today. Speedway is leading presently 21-14. I'm joined today by Kyle Trebley, Superintendent of Schools here at Speedway. Welcome up here to the Roost, Kyle. Kyle, this is kind of one of those things. It's like a awards program on TV where somebody wins an award and they'll say, I know I'm going to miss somebody, but I'm thanking all these people. I know you've got a lot to talk about. We'll try to hit as many different things as we can. Let's start right off the bat, which probably the most important, not probably, for sure the most important. Let's talk about the academics from top to bottom of the Speedway schools right now.
Well, Mr. Prost, I'd like to begin by saying thank you to you, as this is different for me since I've been up here before. I get a little echo going on, so let me adjust myself here.
Okay.
But you've been here since 1989. Does that sound close?
That's pretty close.
33 years that you've been in Speedway, Sparkplug, as a teacher, a coach, athletic director. And I just want to say thank you to you, first of all, as Mr. Smith and yourself have done this for many decades, actually, the TV and the basketball games. And I am thinking that you're still waiting on your first check for this.
Well, we get hot dogs and M&Ms, which is
hot
good.
dogs, and you work with a great
It's
crew,
fun.
and
It's
Mr.
fun.
Pierce over there to my right.
Yeah.
But just thank you for what you've done for this, and because this is one of those deals that we do this, and even though I do have a job here, we did get paid. You got paid at one point in time. We do this because we love this place, and we love Speedway, and we love the community, and it's just a special, special place. So thank you, first of all.
You can take the boy out of the community, but you can't take the community out of the boy, I guess.
Right. So you've been here for, like I said, 30 plus years, but you and Tom Smith have been doing this for many, many years. It's because of the love of the community, and it's a love of the place. And that's going to roll right into our academics and why we are who we are. Once again, this is a broken record that we continue to say. This is my 4th year as superintendent, 9th year in Speedway, and I know when I got here in 2014, we were pretty good in academics. We were really good, top 25% of the state. Since then, because of the culture that's been set and the teachers and the instruction with the students, I'm proud to say we are top in Marion County, again, in academics, but not only that, we're top in the state. And it depends on which assessment you're looking at, because that's, for some reason, that's all we do now is test. And I'm against testing all the time. I do believe in accountability, but whatever test you put in front of a Speedway spark plug, we do pretty darn good. Everywhere from kindergarten all the way to our seniors. Right now, our high school continues to get awards, and that's not stopping anytime soon. We are a school corporation that we believe in putting the best teacher with a small class size, and as you know, the results are phenomenal. So overall, our academics, we're looking for another great year. We're getting results back from the last year on awards, but I get an email probably once a week saying, you're not just a top school in Marion County, you're a top 10 school in Indiana. So when you're competing with Westfield and you're competing against Zionsville, Brownsburg, and Speedway schools are in that conversation, it makes me very proud, but only because of great teachers, small class sizes. Our neighborhood schools continue to put results that are top in the state. Makes me very proud.
You know, it's I agree. It's a pretty good feeling when other schools come to your school, whether it be in your role or whether it be teachers, and to say, what are you guys doing?
Right.
How are you achieving what you're doing? And I know that a lot of that goes on here. Let's roll around a little bit here to athletics from the start of the year till right now.
Well, let's go to, we have some students right now, that student athletes that we're getting a lot of touches with Big Ten schools, and we have a student athlete right now playing JV basketball that's getting a lot of looks. And here's another thing that just goes into our academics and athletics, and it's really a culture deal. That we had Indiana football coaches here last Friday, and they walked in, and then they were at a camp or something that weekend, and they stopped the whole camp and said something about, you know, at Speedway, the hallways on a Friday afternoon are empty. And people are going, well, what's that mean? That means they're in their classroom and we're actually teaching and learning.
Right.
And that's something I really pride ourselves on in this administration and just administrators in Speedway and our school board, that we believe in our culture that rolls into the academics. Not only the academics, it rolls into the athletics. So the fall, we had a great fall. We're tied in the conference right now, I believe, in overall. Our soccer team won back-to-back conference championships. We got deep in the tournament there. Our volleyball team, again, won sectional this year. Cross country's competitive throughout. We have one freshman that went to semi-state in Shelbyville this year. It's good to feel that you're doing it right in the classroom and on the court or the fields. We, again, started last year. This is something, a new thing to our curriculum, that we have our weight program, and Brady Nyland and Coach Parker. We have over 200 kids that are now lifting during the school day, that we can fit that in, on top of AP classes, on top of Speedway High School's high on our academics of getting kids in those classes. And so it makes me happy to see our kids really getting a good lift in during the day and lifting. And that's, I just believe you do that year round. It's not just lift a few weights here and there. So our program's rolling, and I just really believe that's going to roll into the success of all of our athletic programs. Football team won 9 games 2 years ago. This year we won 6+, and you know, when you start adding up, going over 500, that's a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Expected.
You know, I always thought too that, you know, your academics, which we started talking about, but then you got, that's one half of the education, but the other half of the education is what you're talking about with the athletics and the coaches and the things that they stress. A little bit about our music program and our extracurricular, robotics, our clubs.
Well, we recently just went to Orleans down south, and it's called a 4A, and our band, our pep band, they finished first. And anytime you go and compete, and 2 years ago we were a top team or a top band in the state fair, and that's kind of their Super Bowl. Amy Mole and her team, and it's just not her. We have so many parents that give up their time during the summer, and I always said, you know, the football coach and the volleyball, you know, some of those coaches in the fall, they're here all the time. Amy Mole's here all the time. And if you're, you know, if you watch this, if you're around at a boys basketball or a girls basketball game, you hear our pep band, there's one thing that I always hear, and it's like, man, your pep band's pretty good. And Amy does a tremendous job, and they put a lot of time and effort into that. So I'm proud of where they're at on that.
Sure. You know, we've kind of talked a lot about this building, athletics, the high school, academics. How about elementary highlights going on right now?
We have a new principal at Wheeler, Dana Deeds. And that's something that doesn't happen in Speedway very often. We feel like we try to get the person in there and they establish their culture and the way they do things. So a new principal always makes me a little, Dana's done tremendous work over at Wheeler, and I just want to give her a little bit of recognition. She just added for example, a vending machine that gives kids, I thought it was going to be candy. It was books.
I saw that.
You know, and when I was over there for the reveal, and you know, when kids are jumping up and down because they are going to get a new book, folks, I'm telling you, in the community, that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have when kids are excited about good behavior that results in a book. And you know what? That's pretty impressive. But you know, Allison Fisher Newby, our class sizes on average are 18. We have had handful of new teachers for the last couple years in our elementaries, and I'm just proud that because of the culture we have in neighborhood schools with great administrative leadership, instructional coach leadership, these new teachers are really enjoying teaching here.
Good.
And I always think as a parent here, you want a place where your kid enjoys going to school. And right now, that's a pretty good vibe around Speedway. So very proud of them all. And, of course, we're in testing season right now, and then some of those awards will start rolling out. So
let's go up one level to the junior high. Talk a little bit about the junior high.
Mr. Roseborough and Mr. Grove, again, as the principal and assistant principal, leading the way for multiple years, I guess 4 years now. They just do a tremendous job, and I always believe that's one of the best junior high staffs in the state. And the culture that they set day in, day out is just phenomenal. Kids are focused on learning. That's a hard thing to do in junior high. But they're doing a tremendous job over there, and again, we're the largest that junior high has been, and Mr. Disney's to my right down. He's been here for a few years. We're at, we are sitting somewhere around 320 kids, and Mr. Disney was telling me, he said, all of his multiple years as being the principal, 290 to 310. 310 was kind of a big one. 312, I think, at one point in time was the big. So we really passed that at one time. I know we were plus 320. And that's a lot of kids. So those are our two largest classes in the corporation right now in 7th and 8th grade.
Wow. When I was in Purdue, I'll even say the year 1976, I took a computer science class, and honestly, the computer was as big as my kitchen. And I know that things have changed, obviously, over the years. You got some notification this week about a college board recognizing some of our computer science programs here at the high school. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you got to go back, I think, with before 2014, Kyle Owens was here at that time. He was leading Project Lead the Way, and that's really when the state wanted to make a case to improve STEM. And at that point in time, Speedway schools, we had those classes, but again, it really is about the person in front of them. So Eric Roseborough now is in front of them. We have kind of some new people, Mr. Dunphy, and he was the one that is really pushing ahead. I'm going to read this off.
Sure.
So as College Board contacted the high school, Mr. Claiborne, Mr. Day, and gave us kind of an award on closing the gender gap and expanding young women's access to computer science coursework and an AP computer science. And like you said, we used to have maybe one classroom. Now we have multiple, and Mr. Dunphy's taking that to EA Sports class. And if you haven't heard this, I guess that's a whole thing people get into, video games. I just played Mario Brothers and knew how to get to Warp World and do all that. I was pretty good at that stuff, but Tech Mobile. But this is something that kids are interested in. And anytime you get kids excited about something, I love how Speedway does it. We make sure that we have something for them to engage them in that, and that's what's going on right now. So really proud of our high school expanding on top of the 17, 18 AP classes that we usually offer each and every year.
Yeah. Well, let's end up with we've gone through academics, we've gone through some athletics at different buildings, different levels. Any projects that we want to talk about here today?
Well, the school board and myself, and as we work as a group, we always put education. We always put not just education, but to be specific, we put opportunities in front of kids, and whatever we do, such as the AP program, we feel like we do a pretty good job of it. We don't do everything under the sun, but what we do is make sure that what we do it well. That's hard for some people to understand, but we put student learning first. And we, again, believe that great instruction in front of a small classroom is our answer on that one. We're provided to find the best teacher. The second part is a safety, and I've always, since 4 years ago, we started safety projects and replacing air conditioning. We replace all the things that most people don't see, such as the air conditioning. That was very costly. So we've gone through Allison, Newby, Wheeler, have all brand new air conditioner units and handlers for that building. We also last year, last summer, we did a safety project that we got a $100,000 grant from the school safety from the state. We redesigned the high school entry, because before you would go through two doors and you really could go anywhere. And this building is our brand new building in 1963. And we redid the way that people would enter the high school, that you have to go into the office before you go out. And that was not as easy as it sounds. So we redid a lot of the things for that high school and try to make it more safer for this building. Next summer, which is in just a couple months, we're planning on, we got another grant, $25,000, and we're going to redo the junior high entry in Fisher Elementary. So that's in works right now. I'll take a proposal to the school board on Valentine's Day, February 14th, the next board meeting, and we're planning on doing that project this summer. The other things that are going on, this building was built in 1963. It is our brand new one. So the air conditioning unit and the chiller up on top, the median inside of it, that isn't, you know, it's not doing what it should be doing, and we're looking at replacing that too this summer, if not before September at least.
Right.
So we have a lot of little projects going on right now. We have continue to always put money into technology, into the safety, and it really goes back to this. Let's give teachers the best chance they can to teach in a great environment and keep it safe. And, you know, that's what we do all the time.
Well, that's a lot.
It is.
I know we started off talking about the fact that we might not be able to cover everything, but I think we've covered an awful lot. And we sure do appreciate you coming up and sharing all those thoughts with us here at the game today. So,
well, we appreciate you. 33 years is a couple days. And,
yeah.
and Ron, you're a great teacher, great everything you've ever done. So I'm just proud that you're here next to me, and we say thank you.
You're welcome. I love being here. So we'll be back in a little bit with the lineup to today's game and the play-by-play. Welcome back, basketball fans, to Pollard Gymnasium for the Saturday afternoon matinee game between Cascade Cadets and the Speedway Spark Plugs. Once again tonight, I'm joined here with Coach Shane Clampett. Plugs looking for a win, coming in with a record of 1-12. Cascade coming in with a record of 6-9. Coach, we're talking here off the air just a little bit ago, and I also posed this question to Coach Bennett, and I know you were in the locker room a little bit earlier. Our team's been really close. We've played well half, played well three quarters against some really good competition. I know Crawfordsville, Greenwood Christian, Tri-West, Park Tudor go right down the list. But for some reason, we don't have that, whatever we need to do to finish games and get into that fourth quarter. How would you handle that? I mean, football, I guess the same thing could happen too, probably. You could be in a game at halftime and lose a bunch of close games.
Yeah, well, first, it's good to have you back, Coach Probst.
Yeah.
Last week with Coach Dorman was great, but it's good having you back. You know, I think, you know, trying to, you know, it's tough. I don't know. You know, I think, you know, adjustments obviously are a big part of it, and teams adjusting to what we're doing in the first half. I also think, you know, mentally trying to, you know, re-engage the kids, maybe come out earlier, try to do some different things mentally to get them, you know, in the same frame of mind as they are at the beginning of the game. I don't know. That's a tough thing to do. You know, I know Coach Bennett is goal-oriented. I know he's got his goals. I was in the locker room. He had, you know, a lot of things from the first half, second half, last few losses, showing the kids how close they really were. And it was really good stuff in there I saw on the board. So I think just pushing through this, I think, you know, we're going to talk getting Cale Bennett back tonight. It's a great opportunity for the Plugs to get going and, you know, have a good third quarter tonight and hopefully get a win.
Yeah. Well, real quickly here, we'll go over the lineups for Cascade. They're perimeter people. Nick Parsons, a 5'9 junior, number 10, leading scorer. He's only averaging 7. The team's averaging 41. Micaiah Tharp, a 6'2 senior, number 30, averaging about 4. Inside players, Connor Sanders, 6'4 sophomore. Carter Sanders, 6'3 sophomore, twins starting for the first time together tonight. And Devon Weigel, a 6'4 junior. We'll turn it over right now to John Del Carabo for the national anthem and for the Speedway lineup.
Speedway High School is proud to have Select Physical Therapy as its sports medicine provider. The athletic department would like to thank team physician Dr. Conan Chittick and athletic trainer Katie Keller for their efforts to keep our athletes free from injury. If you need physical therapy, visit selectphysicaltherapy.com to schedule an appointment at a conveniently located central Indiana location. In the spirit of sportsmanship, we ask all fans to act responsibly and courteously to those around them. Abusive language, negative behavior is unacceptable at all IHSAA events. Let's afford the players, coaches, and officials the respect they deserve. Thank you for being a good sport. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can please rise and remove your hats as we honor our nation with the playing of our national anthem. And the official Twitter page of Sparkplug Basketball at Plugs EWC. Scholarships for Speedway will have its annual Flow-a-thon this year, Saturday, February 25th and Saturday, March 4th. Speedway students will be calling.
Sparkplugs tonight will have their normal lineup. Nate Metallic and Cody Fenders at guards. Nate leading scorer, 6'5" senior, Cody 5'11" junior. Inside players, Landon Short, 6'4" junior, number 24. Devin Robinson, 5'10" junior, number 32. Creighton Bennett, a 6'4" senior, number 52. And as you mentioned, Shane Cale Bennett tonight will be making his reappearance on the season. I think it was the Covenant Christian game when he got hurt. So I know Coach Bennett's going to play him and maybe a little bit of spot playing and kind of on a pitch count, so to speak.
Forward is senior number 30 with 5 starts. And forward sophomore number 34 is Connor Sanders. Head coach for the Cadets, Dave Carpenter, assisted by Brandon Reese, Brandon Goodwood, and Derek Martin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineups for your Speedway Spark Club. At guard, the senior number 3, Nate Metallic. Guard, the junior number 20, Cody Fender. Next guard, the junior number 32, Devin Robinson. Next forward, the junior number 24, Landon Short. And the forward, the senior number 52, Creighton Bennett. Head coach of the Spark Plugs is Charles Bennett, assisted by Jim Burley, Christian Ford, and J.D. Clampett.
Coach Bennett did tell me before the game that one thing they're going to do a little, not differently on the floor tonight, but to kind of combat this problem that we've been talking about is they're going to try to play this game in 4-minute segments. And I know when, I'm not sure we did it when you played, but when we would play teams like Ben Davis, and I think that's good for our team because that's basically, and I know in football you do the same thing, next play. You don't worry about what's down the line, and you try to win as many as those 4-minute segments. So we'll see tonight how that goes.
Yeah, I remember you doing that when we were growing up. Yeah, we do a lot on possessions, focus on possessions of football, but same thing here. I think the Plugs are ready to go. They've had a great week, and we're into action here. Plugs starting man-to-man. Cascade's moving the ball around. Obviously a patient offense.
As we talked about earlier, Cascade averaging around 41 a game, but only giving up 45, so it might be a quick game today.
Cascade still moving the ball around. Playing really without a post player here. Good pull-up jumper by number 10, Parsons, their leading scorer. Plugs down to Devin Robinson on the wing. Back to Metallic. Metallic good.
This is a style that a lot of teams don't play.
Especially not around Marion County. You see
No.
it more down south and other places.
Yeah. But again, they're in a sectional with Park Tudor and University, and so probably they figure that this is the best chance of winning in the sectional is a play like this.
Yeah, Coach Carpenter does a great job.
Yep.
I know he played fast with the girls' teams there when he has it, and I'm sure he's just adjusting to what Cascade's got. But he's a heck of a coach. I know him personally. Great guy, maybe even better coach. So Cascade's got a good one. Good rebound by Devin. I think getting the lead here is important for the Plugs. Oh, Lena misses a layup there. Off of Creighton. I always found teams like this that were patient so hard to play against.
Yes, and what you just a second ago said, it's important for us to get a lead, get ahead, because never easy to play behind, but a team that's used to playing like this, it's even more difficult.
Yeah. There you go, Landon. Good finish.
That's it.
Landon makes layup. Plugs are up 4-2. Good up and under by 34, yeah. Good box out by Creighton Bennett.
Connor Sanders, a sophomore, number 34, as you alluded to, made a great up and under move.
Plugs are in a little too high set here. Something a little different. Cody Finners for three. Oh. Rolled out. Turnover by the Cadets. Plugs have done a good job defensively so far.
Yeah.
Cascade staying in man-to-man here. Nate driving. Misses the layup. Sanders, I can say Sanders quite a bit and be okay. Up, travel, double dribble.
Yeah, you probably could say that about half the time and be correct. Coach Carpenter did say this is the first time this year that they have been starting together.
Toby, is it Toby Savini?
Yep.
Yep. Checks into the game. His dad was a good player at Cascade. Cascade's moving the ball around. They do have someone in the post here. Again, moving the ball around the perimeter. Good Cody with a steal.
Somebody get a rebound here, never know.
Missed the layup, landed with the offensive rebound.
Wow.
Gets a shot blocked.
Contact.
Staying with it though. Cody with a good strong move there, but he looked like he anticipated a lot of contact there. Devin Robinson for three. Good. Great pass out of the double team, and then good skip by Creighton Bennett there.
One area today that
Nate with the steal. Oh.
One area today that I think has hurt us somewhat at different times throughout the year has been our transition defense. And today, hopefully, knock on wood, that should not be an issue with a team that doesn't look to push it that much.
Yeah. Good defense, missed. Cale Bennett's in the game now. Driving, left-handed layup, good. Plugs lead 9-2, 2.5 minutes left.
Saying you're way too young to remember, but I think I'm way too young to remember it. I do remember, I think it was 1973. I'm comparing this to Cale Bennett coming in tonight. It was 7th game of the NBA series, and Willis Reed, the star center, you may have seen films of this.
Yep.
Got hurt bad in game 6, I guess it was, and didn't think he was playing, and runs out on the floor and actually got the first basket of the game, and they went on to win the world championship. But I kind of compared that to Cale's got to be very excited, and I think team's got to be very excited for him as well. Cale's got to always plays hard.
Yeah, energy is going to be a big part of what he brings to the Plugs. And a senior has played, 3 years of varsity basketball too. Good defense by the Plugs.
Good anticipation.
Cale misses his shot there. Plugs keep grinding out defensively here.
I think Drew Metallic also in the game at this point.
Metallic with the rebound here. Get a good one. Good pass by Metallic to Metallic. Good move by Sanders there. Cascade goes to a 2-3 zone this time. Metallic with a pull up. Drew there, the younger one.
Kind of a tough shot going to your left, fading away.
Yeah, a little early in the possession too. Not a bad shot, just like to get a better one. Layup by 34 Sanders. Missed 3 by Cale Bennett, but put back by Nate Metallic.
20 seconds to go in the quarter.
Offensive flurry last minute, been like 8 points.
Up and down. Cale Bennett, that's only the first team foul, only the second foul of the quarter.
Yeah, it's been a pretty quick quarter.
Yes. Camden Bennett into the game right now for the Plugs.
Nate gets back cut there.
Nice basket.
Yeah, good finish by Weigel. Good take by Nate and gets the bucket back. Good first quarter for the Plugs.
Yep, into the first quarter. Speedway 15, Cascade 8. Cascade, and just checking some things before the game today, have won 6 sectional championships. 2 of those were in one class basketball, both of them at Brownsburg. They won in 1965, 1984, and then early in the 2000s, they won 4 class tournaments at South Putnam. I think Jason Young was the coach of the first 2 in 2001 and 4, and Chris DuBois, who coached there for a lot of years, won in 2005, 2006.
I saw Coach DuBois. He's here tonight.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, saw him. He's a good coach, good man.
Yes, coached a lot of, I'm guessing in the neighborhood of 18, 20 years. I think maybe he and Coach Bennett came in around the same time. Might have been the same year.
Back to almost exact.
Yeah.
They were both counselors too. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of correlations there.
You know, you talked about the shot that Vitalik took there and being a good shot. A lot of players don't realize a good shot is not just where you're at, how far you are from the basket. It's time, it's score, it's momentum from each team. A lot goes into it, and I think as players get older, they learn that. Because most people think a good shot is just where I am on the court, and that really is one small part of it.
And, you know, not that that's not important every night, but when you're playing a team that's going to slow the game down like Cascade is, it's going to be extra important tonight because you're not going to get a ton of possessions on this end. And you got to value those, and you got to make sure you get high-quality shots. Drew Metallic, just missed that. That was a good shot there. Wide open 15-footer.
Yep.
Just left it a little short.
Cascade went zone there, I think, for the first time, and Plugs did a nice job of cutting Metallic into the high post area.
I kind of thought they would zone us. Just kind of their style of play tends to be a zone type of team. On the roll, good catch, good rotation by Metallic.
We've turned them over 2 or 3 times on bad passes, which speaks to the defense that we're playing this early in the game.
Good
nice
pass.
Good
finish
pass.
By Creighton Bennett. That was a hot one.
Yeah.
Ball screen out top. Drive by Savini. Misses. Kick out. Ooh.
That's it.
Good. Push it here. Metallic with a foul. Calling it on the floor. This is an important 2 minutes here. Push this lead out above 10. You know, you got to try to build and bury Cascade here.
Yeah, we talked about earlier. One of the coach's keys was, number one, cut down on our turnovers. That's been a big issue Coach Bennett talked about. And the other one was just getting good starts at the beginning of the quarters.
Yeah.
And this obviously is a team that doesn't like to play from behind. When you play like this, you're hoping the game is close. And they've had a lot of close games. As I said, their big win probably was against Triton Central, where they won that game 41-38. Looking at the games they've won, the winning score was 47-40, 41-46.
Yeah. So
that's how they want to play.
We can get up here.
Yes.
15. They're still going to play their game at 9. If you can push it out to 15, ish at halftime, then they're going to have to play faster than what they want.
Yep.
But you keep it at 7, 6, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. So you were in a big stretch here for the Plugs. Good out of bounds play. Good finish by Landon Short. Good job of coming out of a timeout, executing a out of bounds underplay, getting a good look. And then a complete defensive breakdown there. Two points for Brady Trebley.
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, look out. I believe Trebley was a quarterback on the football team.
Yeah. He did a great job for him football-wise this year.
But he's a freshman.
That gave us all. That was a great game. That was one of the best wins
from behind.
Yeah, best wins I've been a part of. Most exciting.
Yeah.
Especially since we don't play them anymore. I really wanted to get them. Metallic driving. Good pass. Creighton Bennett in rhythm. Good shot.
2 times in a row, Nate's made great passes. Again, you got to lead 21-10. Stay solid on defense.
Good shot. Parsons with 3 there. Switching those ball screens, he kind of refused it, and we kind of got a mismatch there.
Parsons is shooting 34% from three-point line on the season.
Landon short, drives. Loses it.
Plenty of time, guys.
Yep, Cody Finners missed there. Plugs look lower out of sorts on that offensive possession. I would have liked to see Nate get it and kind of regroup us. Out of bounds on Blessing Bambo.
Devin Robinson into the game for Bambo. Plugs right now, I believe, back to their starting 5.
Yep, big defensive possession here. They've made a couple shots, make them earn it here. Ball screen for Parsons. Sanders driving, good hands by Nate. Creighton got backdoored there.
Cut. We were fortunate.
Yes, we were. That's just that where you fall asleep, you garden. That's a good back door. Creighton. Landon drives, misses, gets his rebound,
Good
puts
hustle.
it in.
Good board. Good.
Great job staying with it there.
Yep.
I like to see him drive after the last drive. He fumbled and kind of, but still stayed aggressive. Good defense, good shot. Parsons made a couple tough shots.
On a scouting report, if I can pull it up here, Coach Bennett has shooter under Parsons. He is their leading scorer. Doesn't average a lot, but he will shoot it up.
There it is. Missed that one. Plugs need to run some offense here. I think hear Coach Bennett talking about making them work here. Devin driving. Good, Landon. They're doubling.
Yes.
Metallic every time off a ball screen, so he did a good job of giving it up. Sometimes it's the second pass. He gives it up, and then the second pass, almost like the hockey assist. He should be getting more assists, but he's doing a good job of getting it to guys and letting them make a play. Cody Finners got caught there. Little hold there, got caught and pinned, and all guards know that trick. You hold them.
I've never heard of that.
Got to hold him a little bit. That's one of those where they call it on you, tell them good job.
Yeah.
You caught me. Plugs up 10, 2 minutes left. Trebley driving baseline. Parsons shot fake. Metallic's link gave him some trouble. We didn't come down with it though. Cascade resets.
Yeah, that's what you don't like to see, a second shot turning into a foul.
That's Cale's second, too.
Cascade on the season, not a real big three-point shooting team. As a team shooting 28%. I hesitate sometimes to say things like that because the reverse jinx comes back and gets you. But
and I know Coach Carpenter. He shot a ton of threes. I'm sure he may be a guy that likes shooting more than I do. You didn't play with him. I did.
Well, I coached you.
Missed by Parsons. Plugs here, up 10. Good job walking it up here.
Big minute 18 here. Even if you held the ball here and went for, just be patient, get a good shot.
Yeah, take a great shot here.
Let's get this going in at halftime, but 10 or more.
Beautiful. Pick and roll. Nice pass by Cale Bennett to Devin Robinson, wide open on the block. One more stop here.
Yeah, get a good one more stop and get it back. And
oh, got him.
Here again, get a rebound.
Good job of Landon running with him. Oh.
I know we probably won't hear, but 43 seconds to go, I think I'd be tempted to go for one.
Yeah, hold it. I tell you what,
good
pass.
As I said, I think I'd go ahead.
I think you run that pick and roll again.
Yeah, they're had struggling covering that.
Yeah, Devin's doing a nice job of sealing. Oh. Yes, now we're up 14. One shot here.
27 seconds to go.
Yep, one shot.
Again, it could be 16 or 17 as opposed to 11 or 12, so I like this.
Yep.
Good move by Coach Bennett, giving the ball to your player that you want to have the ball in his hands.
Getting a zone from Cascade here.
12 seconds.
Don't step off. I know what they're running here. Skip it.
It's all right, no foul.
We're not in the bonus.
No, not in the bonus. But I think that's that Cale Bennett. Is that?
Yeah, it's his third.
Yeah. And Cale's first game back, but senior, you got to know you got 2 fouls, and just even if you are able to secure that rebound, you're probably not going to get much out of it.
Yeah. I know what set they were running there. They were running a set there, and they did not execute that. I know that was not the way it was supposed to be with Nate shooting a contested. He almost made it.
Yep.
Like to see a little better execution there at the end of the half. But Plugs lead, 29-15.
29-15. We'll be back in a few minutes with the first half individual scoring and some. Welcome back to Pollard Gymnasium. At halftime, Speedway leads Cascade 29-15. In the first half, according to our statistician Brian Pierce, who I don't doubt his accuracy, Speedway 14 of 30 from the field, 47%. Cascade 7 for 18, 39%. Spark Plugs 13 rebounds, 5 offensive, and Cascade 11, 2 offensive. But I think one of the keys, Cascade 7 turnovers in the half, Speedway 1 turnover. And I know that was one of the keys that Coach Bennett talked about. Shane, what do we have individually for the scoring in the first half?
Well, the Plugs are led by Devin Robinson with 9. Nate Metallic and Landon Short both have 6. Metallic has done a great job of getting the ball out of his hands, especially in those double teams. He's got some assists, some hockey assists. Creighton Bennett's got 4, played well. Drew Metallic's got 2. Cale Bennett gave him a great lift defensively and made his first shot, checked in. He's got 2. The Cadets are led by Parsons, their leading scorer. He's got 7, got his average already. Connor Sanders has got 4. Weigel's got 2. And then the freshman Brady Trebley, who we all know very well here at Speedway, the name's familiar, has got 2. Played well in the second quarter.
You know, I think something that we improved on as that half went on, you were talking about Nate Metallic getting double teamed up high. And I think early in the game, the player who the double team came from was not showing themselves, and I think as the half went on, it looked to me like whoever was doubling up on Nate, that offensive player was showing himself a little bit more as an open target. And it may not have been after the first pass, but sometimes it was the second pass. But we have to do that because if they're going to double him, somebody is open. And we converted 2 or 3 times, I know, late in that half.
Yeah, I think they're a little confused on their ball screen defense. I can't tell if they're trapping Nate, we know that, but I can't tell if they're hedging and fighting underneath or they're switching, and they look a little confused. Sometimes that's the hard part when you have a good player and the game plan is to trap him when he comes off a ball screen and then do something else when everyone else comes off a ball screen. It sounds great in theory. It's really hard to execute with high school kids, and I know you know that. You know, you have different matchups and different guards on each kid, but it's not as easy as it seems.
No. There's a lot of rotation that goes on, and big, important part of the game here, as Coach Van alluded to, first 4 minutes.
Nate.
Because this is where in our many times this year have struggled. Important to keep our turnovers down and good shots. If we do that, I think we're going to be okay.
Nate Metallic, good move, left-handed layup, good.
Good pass.
Yeah, the start of third quarter has been kind of our kryptonite the last month or so.
And again, you don't have to worry about the whole quarter. As Coach Ben said, let's go 4 minutes here, see what happens.
Good rotation, good communication by Devin and Creighton there. Metallic, get a good one. Good turnover. Only plug second. Three by Sanders.
And again, he is not their leading three-point shooter, but he's shooting 34%, so it's something we've got to be aware of.
Good. Move the ball a little bit here. Good. Catch him on that. Get in there. Good move by Devin. They'll really have trouble. We get that second or third ball screen, they're going to have a lot of trouble guarding it.
Plugs, I think, for the entire game have been man-to-man, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we haven't been in the zone at all. Cascade switched a little bit back and forth. Cascade still playing patient, still third quarter. Where you got to be careful with those back doors. Good hands by Finners. Yep. Layup by Sanders. Metallic driving, kicking, Cody for three. In and out. Good rebound by Creighton.
Make him pay here. Make him work again for another 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Probably as a player, one of the most demoralizing things. You play good defense and give up an offensive rebound, and that's what happens.
That's exactly what happens. Especially when you're fighting that uphill battle. You know, down 10, you're climbing that hill, and the ball doesn't bounce your way. Plugs up 13 here. Cascade's moving the ball around. Parsons looking to drive. Turnover. Metallic will bring it up. Cascade's still in man.
You need to get some movement here.
Yeah, and just get into an offense here. Metallic with a pull-up jumper, good. Plugs are back on defense here. Good pressure without getting backdoored. It's that balance you have to find defensively right now. Parsons drives, leans in, gets a call, and the bucket.
Cascade calling a timeout.
So 4 minutes in here. It is a 7-6, yeah.
Yeah, they've outscored us by 1. We were up 14 at half. But even there, you got the lead going in, so it makes it a little bit more acceptable. You know, there's for those people that are, well, not, I was going to say as old as I am, but they're still this way. Lagodi High School, down in the southern part of the state, for years has depended on this style of play right here. Jack Butcher was their coach. He's probably in the top 5 of all-time wins. Very patient. I remember one year they went to the state finals. This is in single class, and played Columbus North, and I probably 75 or 6 or somewhere in that area. Got beat at night by Marion, but I never saw a team take apart another team so much as they did by playing a very deliberate style of basketball.
Pace. Now, and I may be wrong, didn't Milan do that in their junior year before they won the state championship? They were
Milan was it. They were in the Final Four 2 years in a row. A lot of people don't realize they were in the Final Four 2 years in a row.
But didn't they play a real patient four-corner style their junior year and picked it up a little bit their senior year?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I'd read that somewhere.
Yep.
Who scored for the Plugs? Was that Metallic?
That was Nate.
Good.
And, of course, the famous hole in the ball for about 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You do what you got to do to win the game. It's not always maybe what you want. A little breakdown there.
Yeah. Got caught high on the ball screen there.
Yeah, we're kind of in this area here where you don't want them to get the lead under 10. Had I been Coach Carpenter at halftime, I would have said, let's get this thing down in single digits by the end of the quarter. And
I think we don't want to get trading baskets and let them get some good feeling, and because you never know how that may end up. And yeah, you're in the lead, but you put yourself in a bad situation. Creighton with the foul there. Going to shoot 2.
Yep.
Rolls the first one in. Creighton's had a good game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, missed the second one. Kill on Parsons here. Good move by Parsons.
Not only a good move, but he knew that Cale Bennett was guarding him. I guess he knew that. Cale's got 3 fouls.
Yeah, put him in a bad bind. Good move, though. Good, strong move. Good pass. Finish landing. Good left hand. Good pass by Metallic. But we're trading baskets again. Get a stop.
40-26 Speedway with 2 minutes to go at the end of the third quarter. And you're right.
Bennett get beat baseline again there. I think he's overplaying that ball screen a little bit too much. Twice Sanders refused the ball screen and just drove baseline. Cale. Drew Metallic, big 3 there.
Timeout Speedway, 43-28. We're right back to where we were. It's actually 1 point difference at halftime, up 14. Now we're up 15.
Good timeout by Coach Bennett there. I think he's saying the same thing we're saying right now. Dig in, get a couple stops here, build and bury. You know, the last minute here in the start of the fourth quarter, and the Plugs can have a nice, easy cruise to a varsity victory on a matinee game.
Yep.
Enjoy the weekend.
This is a time, I think, too, where you tell your players, let's go to the next level. Okay, 15. Let's get this thing, forget what's happened in the past. Let's get this thing to 18. Let's get a couple stops, get to 18, and you go up. But set little goals.
Plugs come out pressing here. Good. I like it.
Yep.
Good. Change speed up a little bit. Got fouls to give. You can be aggressive.
Both teams only have one foul in the quarter, or in the half, I should say.
Baseline 3, good. Weigel with 3.
Weigel on the season only shooting 21%.
Drew Metallic with a deep 3, landed with the offensive rebound. Kicks it back out to Kale. Kale for 3, short. Doesn't get the rebound.
They got the advantage, 3-on-1.
Good pass, good shot fake, good layup.
46 seconds. Plugs need a good one here. Need a shot. Don't need to be in a hurry. Well, they're having a hard time guarding Nate Metallic tonight, as a lot of teams did this year.
Yeah, his size, his combination of size and skill puts everyone in a matchup problem. Plugs need a bucket here, though. They've cut it to 10, like you talked about. Coach Carpenter, out of bounds play, misses, landed with another offensive rebound.
Ooh.
Landon misses it. Excuse me.
34 seconds to go till the end of the third quarter. With that free throw, puts the Plugs up 44-33. Twenty seconds.
Good pressure by the Plugs.
With a good pass out.
Yeah. 5 seconds left here. Metallic.
And that is the end of the third quarter. Speedway 44, Cascade 33. So in that quarter, Cascade did outscore Speedway 18-15. But again, I'm just, you know, when you haven't won a lot of games, you're just still a little, even if you have, you're still a little on edge. I hate to continue to bark on it, but these first 4 minutes here are
huge.
Yes.
We're 1-12. We need a little confidence here. We don't want to put ourselves in a tight ball game, and it's a great time to build a lead here. Make Cascade pay fast. Get good shots offensively. Make sure you continue to rebound. And like I said, nothing easy. No back doors. No open threes. No straight line drives. Make them earn it. They've struggled to do that all night. Take good shots, get above 50 points, and we should be celebrating a victory today.
Yeah. The difference between them scoring the first 4 and us is the difference between a 15-point lead and a 7-point lead. I mean, it doesn't sound like a much 4 points, but Cascade going to a 3-2, I'd be really patient here.
Yeah. Plugs get lucky there.
Yep.
Fenners with a pull-up.
Good start.
Plugs are in a 2-3 zone.
And I like that move too. I don't know how many times we'll go to it, but again, I think I mentioned it earlier, Cascade on the season shooting 28% from the field. Parsons, probably they're on 4 right now as their best three-point shooter.
Yeah, I like him changing a little bit here. They've made some shots. Good rebound by Metallic.
I think the bench was up anticipating a three-pointer. Great pass.
Yeah, that's a good decision. Good decision by both Metallics there.
Yep.
Metallic could have shot
Yep.
the one, swung it to Nate. He didn't shoot it. Found Devin Robinson for a layup.
I think this is the best I've seen Nate pass the ball since the Beech Grove game early in the year. He's looking, finding the open man.
Yeah, I think picking his spots. He's done a great job of picking his spots, when to shoot and share the ball.
And to start the quarter, Cascade's shooting a lot more three-pointers than they did early in the game. As you said earlier, they're down now. They got to do some things that they are not accustomed to doing. And they're staying in their zone. It's, I guess not, man-to-man.
Be patient here. Swing it. Lesson Bambo. Got fouled.
Good foul. You know, another thing I noticed, sometimes when you're not winning a lot of games, your bench is not always actively involved. I don't think I've seen our bench as active as they are tonight. I mean, earlier in the game, they were yelling defense. I mean, that's key. It lends support. It keeps you in the game. I'm very impressed with how not just the 5 players on the court are playing tonight, but how everybody is contributing in their own way.
Yep. You're either giving energy or taking it. John Gordon says it over and over again. You know. There's no in between. The bench has done a good job. Like I said, it's been a great game by the Plugs. Let's finish it off.
Plugs in a 3-2. And I think this, looking ahead, the fact that they're not very good three-point shooters, I think is a great move.
And, you know, different something to think about. Your high school kids staying around a little bit at zone offense. They were getting in a little better rhythm. They scored 15 points in the third quarter. So I like it.
And sometimes it takes a team 3 or 4 possessions to figure something out, and by that time we're going to be under 4 minutes.
Good hands by Finners. Good decision here. Don't force it. Forced it.
(49-33), 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
You know, it's maybe one of the least fouled games we've done all year.
First half, I think there might have only been 4 fouls. So far this half, with 5.5 minutes to go, we've had 6 total fouls.
It hasn't been a real rough physical game. It's been well officiated. It's a good call there. Travel on Sanders. Metallic with the ball screen off of Bambo.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
You know, nothing wrong with good timeout.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with resetting, and when things don't go right, especially when you're ahead, bring it back out, start it over.
Keep moving the ball. You know, we got to move the ball. Keep moving the ball. We've done a good job of getting the ball side to side. And sometimes I think kids think passing is good. If you're not getting the ball from one side of the court to the other, if you pass it 18 times on the same side of the floor, you're not getting anything done.
No.
You know, you've got to move the ball. And that time we kind of got, last few possessions, we've been caught kind of on one side. You know, I'd like to see him swing it the other side of the floor a little bit more. Make that defense rotate.
If you're a college basketball fan, we talked earlier, but Purdue's having I say a nice year. When you're number one, you're having. But if you ever watch, or if you can ever listen, and I've been fortunate enough to be at a couple practices over the years, Coach Painter yells. I bet if you ask any player what one word have you heard more often than any other in your career, it would be move, because he yells it continuously. Move, move, move. And it just falls into what you were just talking about.
You know, I'm not a guy. I've always wondered, like, you know, people keep track of lane touches and all that stuff, but you know, how many times you take the ball side
Reversing
to side?
it?
Yeah, if you do it 4 or 5 times, I bet you're scoring.
I'm going to tell you,
percentage.
Get a timeout here. I'm going to tell you something I saw on line here last year, and I hope I didn't delete it.
Plugs Metallic, good drive, gets a shot block though. Sanders drive, scores.
Good move.
Metallic up and under, misses. Good rebound by Landon.
Oh, get out of the lane, Landon.
Yep. Devin, good kick out. Metallic for 3. Landon battling again. Good battle, push ahead. Ooh. Trebly's fouled.
Yep. That'll be a shooting foul. You know what I was talking about earlier? I saw this, I think it was last year or the year before, and I believe it was Louisville. And they're not having a good year this year, but they kept a stat, and it was like what their shooting percentage is based on how many times the ball reverses the floor. And it goes way up. The more times you reverse the ball, shooting percentages go way up because you're getting better shots, easier shots because you're making the defensive move. If I can find that,
yeah,
I'm going to bring that to the next game.
Yeah, I know it's a fact. I'd want to see how much the percentages jump up.
It was behemoth.
I could imagine.
Yeah. Plugs just can't put them away. Cadets down 13, giving it everything.
I was going to say credit Cascade and
Absolutely.
Coach Carpenter. They haven't quit at all.
Nope.
They've played their game.
Yep.
Plugs find that balance of being aggressive.
Yep. A little more selective.
Yep. They're doing a good job this possession.
Yep.
You can finish it off with a good bucket here. Good job by Cody getting in there.
Got to get some better spacing.
Metallic with a 15-footer misses.
That was a good shot, though. He's going to his right. Little jump shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't a bad shot at all.
Nope.
Foul on landed short there, I think.
Into the game comes Camden Bennett and Cale Bennett.
Plugs still holding on here. Savini with a miss. Metallic driving, gets fouled. You know, the Plugs are really, about, 5 or 6 defensive possessions from finishing this thing.
Oh,
away.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point here. You make a couple free throws, get a couple stops.
I was watching the game a couple of weeks ago with somebody, and it was a similar situation, 14, and the comment was, "Oh, this game's over." It's like, you've never coached. You're not. It's got to get a lot deeper into the game before you're comfortable.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yes. Especially, you've been around, you've seen a lot. There's a lot of crazy things that happen in high school sports.
I saw a couple of game winners in the last weekend, within the last week online of last second shots. I believe Park Tudor had a last second shot. I forgot who that was. It might have been against Bethesda Christian.
It was.
It was a pass deep and a play that they've practiced. And crazy things happen. But it certainly would be a big win for the Spark Plugs. 51-36, 327. Plugs coming up have some difficult games.
Girls sectionals next week, right?
Girls sectional. Well, we need to say that. Girls open up Tuesday night against Beech Grove, I believe, at 6 o'clock here at Pollard Gymnasium. These games are not live, so you will need to be here in order to find out how we did. Girls have had a good season, and I know they're very optimistic going into the sectional.
Yeah, great opportunity for Coach Smith and the girls to win a sectional. How neat would that be, a 3A sectional
that
here?
Would be
the first one, I believe, right?
First 3A. We have won a sectional. Coach Deaver, back in the 80s we won some, but first 3A, yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cody Finners for 2.
Exactly what you were talking about. Let's finish it off on the defensive end.
Yep.
No matter what happens with the ball, let's finish this game strong down here.
Got him.
Uh-oh. Yep. This might be a dunk.
Nice way to finish it off. Good job. One more stop here.
Do it again.
Yep,
I mean, this is
another stop.
Bear down, guys. Be stronger now than you were early.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Play hard, bury him. Celebrate with your teammates. There's nothing better than that. Calling that on Devin, I think, push there. Yeah, I think it caught a little early push there.
Plugs 55, Cadets 36.
Yep, dig in here, keep guarding. Kale's guarding.
Good move.
Yeah, good move by Parsons.
Yep.
Or Sanders, I'm sorry. Those two kids are going to be good.
Yeah, they are.
Good-looking players.
Yep. I was watching them in warm-ups before the game, and exactly right.
Long, they handle the ball, shoot okay. Yeah.
1-6-3, 1-6-4, I think, are right around that area. Good offense here by Speedway. Just
nothing but a layup.
Yeah,
now.
And this is where, people go, you're up 17. Nice play.
Yep. Get your layup.
But what you can do there is down the line, you might have a game where you're only up 6 or 7 points and you want to run that kind of offense. Good pass. Good shot.
Yep. Tharp with the 3 there. Plugs are going to pull it out here.
Yep.
Hold the ball for the last minute, make them foul.
And you got the ball in the hands of a pretty good free throw shooter as well.
Yeah. Metallic beats him, misses layup.
Get a stop.
Get
back.
That's where we talk about transition defense there. That's still one of those moments where Plugs did not do a good job transition there.
And a lot of that, too, is communication and just yelling at each other.
That's all it is.
Yeah. We got a
foul on Finners.
Offensive foul, yes.
That's another thing. High school kids, you go to a college basketball game, and I was at IU last Sunday. I mean, they are yelling at each other, the entire defense, both teams. IU and Michigan State, I sat on the floor, you could hear them yelling at each other the entire time on defense. And high school kids, it's like,
Yeah.
You know how it is. I can't keep them quiet in class. I can't get them to talk on the floor.
But you're right. It's that next step up is huge. Intensity-wise, I mean, every possession, literally in the Big Ten, every possession is a war.
Yeah. And the size and speed of those guys.
Trebly at the line.
Made the first one. Makes them both.
.20 seconds. Plugs are going to get second win of the year.
Yep.
Nice pass.
Good decision by Devin.
Yep.
No need for the layup.
Nope. And this was a good one. Final score, Speedway 57, Cascade 45. We'll be back in just a minute with the player totals and a couple of comments. And I imagine Coach Bennett might bring a player up with him tonight as well. Once again, welcome back to Apollo Gymnasium, where Speedway defeats Cascade tonight 57-45 on the game. Speedway 25 for 53, 47% from the field. Cascade 46%, 19 for 41. Plugs were 5 for 8 from the line, and Cascade 4 for 6. So you mentioned earlier, not a lot of fouls. There were only 14 total free throws. Plugs out rebounded Cascade 24-21. And it looks like Plugs had 3 turnovers, Cascade 12. Shane, what do we have individually on this game?
The Plugs were led by Nate Metallic with 18. Big dunk there at the end. Love to see how many assists he had, but I guess it was above 5 or 6. Great all around game. Cody Fenners had 4, Landon Short with 9, Devin Robinson with a big first half and 13 overall. Creighton Bennett with 5, Blessin Bambo with 1, Drew Metallic with 5, Cale Bennett with 2. To lead the Plugs. The Cadets were led by Parsons, their leading scorer. He had 11. Connor Sanders had 12. Carter Sanders had 7. Tharp had 5. Weigel had 5. And Trebley had 5 to lead the Cadets.
Big win. As I said, Plugs got a couple of tough ones coming up. Lost it here, but I think Tuesday night we go to Martinsville, I guess February. Not maybe, but that would be next Thursday, I guess. And then a week from today, they go to Lebanon for an afternoon game. So some tough games coming up. Lutheran, Bethesda's having a good year.
Yeah.
Cecina's having a good year. The Triton Central game, by the way, in case you have not heard, that was weathered out last week, has been rescheduled for February 22nd, which I believe is a Wednesday night. They'll be here at Speedway. So good win for the Plugs tonight, or this afternoon, actually. And I think one other quick thing, and I'll mention this to Coach Bennett, and I mentioned it at halftime, I believe, but something that really impressed me tonight was the people that were sitting on the bench, whether they were starters who had gone out or whether they were people that did not start the game. A lot of enthusiasm on that bench the entire night, and I thought that was I thought that was a contributing factor as well.
Yeah, the energy was
energy
better.
was incredible.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to be back here in literally a second. I see a player coming up. We'll give him an interview and then talk to Coach Bennett.
We're back. I'm here with Creighton Bennett, senior basketball player, long snapper, tackle, defensive end, shot putter, discus thrower, top 10 student too. Oh, does it all. So Creighton's up here. I love Creighton. He played football for me. I'm excited to talk to him. Great win tonight. How much fun was that? We were talking about talking about the energy on the bench, the energy from everybody. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think was that something that started this week? Because we noticed the energy. So what do you have to say about that, Creighton?
We had a bad day on practice Monday, and we decided when we were in the locker room, no more. Pick it up. Great practices, great energy, and I think it just carried over to the game.
Yeah, we were super excited. You ended up with 5 tonight. A couple layups, a couple great passes from Nate to you, a couple free throws. What do you see? How do you see us building for the future? What's some things we're working on? What's Coach Bennett, Coach Murley, and Coach Clampa talking about as you guys are working towards sectionals?
Really the little things, execution, rebounding, turnovers is a big one because we kind of struggle with that to start the year. And we have our 8 goals, and usually if we meet, I think it's 5, we win the game. And
yeah. I'm sure you guys met 5 of them tonight. Hey, great job, Creighton. I know what type of kids you are, and I know you guys have done a great job of going through a little rough patch. I'm excited to see you guys bounce back and go get us a sectional. Okay? Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome back. One last time, Pollard Gymnasium, Speedway Spark Plugs 57, Cascade Cadets 45. I'm here with Coach Charles Bennett. Coach, I'll let you talk about the game, but I want to say one thing first. Congratulations. I'll say 2 things, actually. And number 2, and I mentioned this during the game, I mentioned this after the game. It's been a long time since I've seen a bench as active as our bench was. I thought the players, whether they started and went to the bench or whether they were on the bench and came to the floor or whether they didn't play, it didn't matter. I thought that was as much of a contributing factor to winning this game. And that's a reflection on the coaching staff and keeping your head above the water and working hard and expecting good things. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. We talk to our kids all the time about what can you do if you're not in the game, what can you do. But I think it's also indicative. The last 2 days of practice, a lot of people could have just said, hey, we're going to mail it in or whatever, but our kids have been just that vocal. They've been upbeat with everybody. I think they still are working towards the goal of obviously the sectional, but our bench is something, and it's something we highlight on film too, so I'm glad you said something, because when we go back and watch film, we'll circle guys that are up and we'll circle guys, but that enthusiasm, and you're right, because I think at one point we were subbing in like 3 or 4 guys, and the guys coming out were still back up, so and then quickly when I was just looking at your guys' stats, looked like everybody that played tonight except for Camden Bennett scored. So when you can do that as well, I think that's a great deal. Very pleased, obviously, with our defense. We had a few lapses, but you know what? When you hold a team to 15 points at halftime and then 30 in the second half, we're going to take that. I thought our first 4 minutes of the third quarter was a good start. The end of the third quarter wasn't so good. I think they scored on 6 straight possessions. So we'll take baby steps there and be happy with the first 4 and then try to clean up that from going on. But happy for our kids. Moves us to 2-2 in the conference. Like I said, they were 2-1 in the conference. So, and as you and I were talking earlier, you don't ever give back any wins at any time that you get it. But I'm happy for our kids because, we talk all the time about keeping good kids, keeping good students, and then they're good at something else. And for our kids to continue to battle day in, day out, show up and do the work, I'm proud of them. So I'm glad you recognize that. I'll make sure I let them know on Monday, because I said, hey, enjoy this for the next 48 hours, but when practice starts on Monday, always looking ahead. Heck, we got to go to Martinsville, which is going to be a tough place to place, and then to Lebanon, who I think's 13-4, 14-3 now, and I think they're ranked 8th in 3A. So, it's not going to get any easier, but this will help our kids, I believe. So, yes.
Yeah, usually these are even if you're winning, it helps a lot. But even no matter what, these are usually the dog days of the year, and the practices can be kind of boring and doldrums and whatever. But when your kids are as enthusiastic as they were tonight, that pays dividends, and it says a lot about the coaching staff. And so you mentioned a little bit next week you go to Martinsville on Thursday night.
Yep.
And then an afternoon game, I believe, at Lebanon.
Yep, on Friday. And
On
hopefully-
Friday or Saturday?
Saturday, excuse me. Yeah,
On
Saturday, because hopefully we'll come back and watch our girls in the
Yeah.
sectional final that night here on the home floor. So
Yeah.
that'd be good. But I will say one other thing, too, about our team is I thought tonight, just kind of quickly glancing down here, but I thought our 3 seniors did a pretty nice job tonight, too. Obviously, Nate Metallic all year long has done a good job of shouldering a lot of load, handling the basketball. But, man, some of the passes he made, the guys
We
were,
brought that
were
up.
phenomenal. Creighton Bennett, I thought, especially early on in the game, rebounded well,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then, of course, Cale got his chance to come back, made the layup, and then came down and shot a 3 that I think was just, okay, I'm back in the game, I'm here, whatever.
Yep.
But, you know, those 3 guys, too, you know, they always say you're only as good as your seniors.
Mm-hmm.
So those 3 guys together have come back and continue to lead us, too. So we'll see what happens.
Great. Well, once again, final score tonight, 57-45. Spark Plugs come out on top over the Cascade Cadets. Once again, we'd like to thank our workers here who do all the work for us, Bill Stennett, Emma Pierce, and Brian Pierce. Thanks a lot, guys. Our next telecast, I believe, to make sure we got this right, is going to be on Thursday, February 9th.
Yep.
I know if you follow the Herald website, it says Friday for that game, but that's a Thursday night. We have 3 more home games, I believe. Lutheran. We have the remake game against Shortridge on February 22nd. And then senior night will be
Against Triton Central.
against
Conference
Triton
South,
Central. So time is winding down, but a great win tonight. So that's it from Pollard Gymnasium, 57-45. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Many communities in rural America are often overlooked as underserved. These communities are being left behind due to lack of internet and access to state-of-the-art technology. That's why Mulberry Telecommunications provides rural broadband services and technology and is growing their presence in north central Indiana. Because every community deserves infrastructure and beyond. To learn more, contact us today.
For the ultimate Wi-Fi experience, you need a managed Wi-Fi service with advanced Blast Wi-Fi. Blast Wi-Fi systems provide ultimate coverage, ultimate performance, and ultimate power all the time. Available from Mulberry Telecommunications, Blast Wi-Fi systems feature the latest Wi-Fi 6 technology and are equipped with unrivaled bandwidth and 4 times more simultaneous connections so you can connect tons of devices throughout your home with no lag and no downtime. Plus, with 24/7 support and remote troubleshooting, you can rest assured that Mulberry Telecommunications is always here to help you should any issues arise. It's the ultimate Wi-Fi experience, and it's a blast. Blast Wi-Fi is now included with Mulberry Telecommunications fiber internet packages. Contact Mulberry Telecommunications at 296-2885 today to get started.